It started with a hole in the ground that wasn't supposed to be there. Deep in the Panamanian jungle, a local worker named Mateo was clearing land when the soil beneath him suddenly collapsed. What opened beneath his feet wasn't just a cave. It was a perfectly angled tunnel, smooth walls, unnatural depth, and a cold stream of air rising from below. He dropped a stone. It took longer than expected to hit the bottom, and when it did, the sound didn't echo the way it should have. That was the moment everything changed, because what Mateo found wasn't just a tunnel. It was something that didn't behave like the earth above it, and the deeper they looked, the less it made sense. So the question is, what exactly lies beneath Panama, and why has no one fully explored it? Because Mateo wasn't the first to find something like this, and he wouldn't be the last. Panama is one of the most geographically complex regions in Central America. Dense jungle, volcanic history, limestone layers that stretch deep underground. Scientists already know that vast cave systems exist here, formed over thousands of years by water erosion. Some are narrow, some are massive, most are unexplored. But Mateo's discovery didn't match what geologists expected. When he called others to the site, they noticed something unusual almost immediately. The tunnel wasn't jagged. It wasn't random. It was structured, almost as if it had been shaped intentionally. And that's when the story began to spread. Within days, more people arrived. Among them was a local surveyor named Elena Ruiz. She had spent years mapping terrain across Panama, but she had never seen anything like this. Elena measured the entrance. Then she measured the angle. Then she stopped, because the numbers didn't make sense. The descent was too consistent. The walls were too smooth, and the airflow coming from below suggested something much deeper than a natural cave. But what disturbed her most wasn't the structure. It was the silence. No insects, no water drips, just a steady, empty stillness, as if the tunnel absorbed sound itself. And then they heard something, not clearly, not loudly, but enough to make them step back, because it didn't sound like the earth shifting. It sounded patterned. Elena wanted to go deeper. Mateo refused. But curiosity doesn't stop once it starts. So the next morning, they returned with ropes, lights, and basic equipment. The descent was slow. 10 meters, 20 meters, 50 meters, still no end. And the walls remained the same. Uniform, almost polished, untouched by the randomness of nature. Then something changed. The air grew warmer, and the tunnel widened. What they found next wasn't just another passage. It was an opening, a massive underground chamber. And for the first time, they saw something that shouldn't have been there. Not clearly, not fully, but enough to raise a question that still hasn't been answered. Because across the chamber floor, there were formations that didn't look natural. Shapes, lines, arrangements that suggested structure or presence. Elena documented everything she could. Photos, measurements, notes. But when she later tried to share the data, something strange happened. The records never gained attention. No official study followed. No excavation was approved. And gradually, the site went quiet, almost as if it had been forgotten. Stories like Mateo's exist across remote regions of Panama. Small discoveries, brief encounters, incomplete explorations. Each one slightly different, but connected by the same pattern. Something is found. It doesn't fit expectations. And then it fades from attention. Scientists explain these formations as natural cave systems. And in many cases, that explanation makes sense. Underground environments can behave in ways that feel unfamiliar. Sound can distort. Air can move unpredictably. Light can create illusions of structure where none exists. But even with these explanations, questions remain. Why are some tunnels so geometrically consistent? Why do certain areas remain unmapped? And why do these discoveries rarely lead to deeper investigation? The truth is simpler than it seems. Exploration is limited. Remote terrain, funding challenges, environmental restrictions, these all play a role. Most underground systems are never fully explored, not because they're hidden, but because reaching them is difficult, and studying them is even harder. When people encounter something they can't fully explain, their minds begin to fill in the gaps, not with certainty, but with possibility. And possibility grows quickly in places where information is incomplete. That's how ideas form, not from proof, but from absence. The idea of inner Earth beings doesn't come from confirmed evidence. It comes from a deeper human instinct to imagine that unknown spaces might hold something more. Not necessarily something supernatural, but something undiscovered. Elena never returned to that site. Mateo stopped talking about it, and the entrance eventually became difficult to locate again. Whether it collapsed, was covered, or simply blended back into the jungle, no one can say for sure. But the question remains, not about what was seen, but about what wasn't fully explored. Because sometimes the most unsettling part of a discovery isn't what you find. It's how easily it disappears. If tunnels like these exist beneath the surface, then the real mystery isn't what's inside them. It's how much of the world remains just out of reach. Don't miss what you just saw. Watch this video again to catch hidden details. Backhand index pointing right, follow for more mysterious content. Television, click here to watch the next video. And don't forget, subscribe to our channel for more secrets revealed.